Yay, we're live!
Woohoo!
I pressed the wrong button there.
Oh, I thought I was hanging on there.
Okay, first off, let's just double check with everybody in the chat. Can you hear both me and Steve?
Is anybody in the chat?
Yes, we've got 5 people in the chat at the moment.
So why can't I see it then? Because I've only got
Because no
seen
one's
me.
chatting.
Oh, okay. Speak
So come
to
on,
me.
someone say hello and someone then tell us whether or not you can hear us both, because this is the first time we've done this setup quite in this way. We want to make sure that we can all hear each other. Oh, hang on a minute, I think. There. So, can you hear us all?
Yeah. The frat can anyway.
Hello, Frack, and thanks for all of your support this weekend. Frack's been watching us for most of the weekend. Really appreciate it. So, welcome. Yep. This is the Pop Culture Gamers show number 39. We're getting round to that magical 50 very shortly. Only a few more weeks to go.
Catching me up the age, I think that will.
So, this week I am joined by Steve.
As usual.
As usual. Hello, Steve.
Hi.
For some reason, Steve's not looking at his webcam. He's looking over to the side.
Well, I've got all these screens here now, so...
He thinks he's on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. That's what it is.
I am. Yeah, that's it.
So we've had... it's the end of a very long week, or weekend, of video gaming. For me, and a bit for Steve as well. So we've, I think it's rocks in at somewhere around about 20 hours or so that I'll have done streaming, and Steve's been with us. Thanks to Prudy for joining in. Thanks for Frack and ZX Spectrum and everybody else who's, Nicky Wilson, everyone who's been involved and, has made it a bit better. We're still quite away from the target. I wanted to raise 500. Doesn't look like we're going to get there. But if anybody hasn't donated yet, please do remember that the fundraising is for charity. It's for Special Effects, who are a charity who do assessments and provide adaptive equipment for people with special needs. So it's well worth it.
Is there a cut-off time for the donations?
No, the donations can go on, but obviously, if we can get 500 or as near as by the end of the weekend, that would be absolutely fantastic. But you can donate throughout the rest of the year. That'll be on, and I'll be, still tweeting about it and mentioning it, as well as sort of like the charity that we're going to support, I think. So, how's your week been then, Steve?
Interesting. It's been all right, actually. It's been hard work as usual, and a couple of bits and pieces turned up this week for me. The first thing I did, I purchased an audiobook.
Yeah.
Which I will tell you what it is when I talk about movies, because I actually purchased the book to one of the Blu-rays I picked up.
Okay.
Because it's backed on a book. The book's called The Midwich Cuckoo, so if anyone Googles that, you might really guess what it is. 2 movies this week. So I picked up Village of the Damned for £9.81 on Amazon. So I got that. And obviously what came earlier in the week was Prince of Darkness, the 4K Collector's Edition.
Yeah. Which
completes the 4 John Carpenter movies that were brought out in that vein. So... So I watched that as well, so that's pretty cool. Downloaded Anthem, but haven't played it yet. I've been frightened to put it on my 10 hours. I don't want to waste it if it's not going to work. So you'll be able to tell me about that.
Yes, because I've had all sorts of fun and games with Anthem, and I finally got the thing working.
Is it just another patch, or...?
Well... When I tried to play, because that was going to be my launch game for this whole event, and I loaded it up, loaded, Twitch up on the Xbox to broadcast, and what happens? It just crashes. So I try this 3 or 4 times, every time exactly the same, crash, crash, crash. So I give up, go on to Destiny, that was fine. Ran straight off like a dream. So then the next day I thought, right, okay, I'm going to give it a go, because that was what I was kicking it off again on the afternoon. No, 4 gig download. So I thought, well, I'm not sitting there waiting for that, so I loaded up Destiny again. And then when it came on, tried to run it, and the servers were down.
Oh, God.
So finally, this afternoon, I actually managed to get an hour play of it. And to be honest, I think that the game will be good. The problem with the game is, I don't know whether or not it's just me being thick or what, but it's not intuitive. In terms of, I had to go and find these Ember things.
Yeah.
Could I find them? Could I heckers like find them anywhere? And I was wandering around for about an hour, and then I just thought, no, I'm going to give up now, because I had other games to play anyway. So, yeah, so that was my Anthem. So, experience. But I think it'll be all right.
Is it short but sweet then, really, or?
Well, I played an hour of the opening, and it was great. And then I did a mission, and that was good. Ranked up to level 2. Then I went into free play to start doing some of the open world stuff that they have on the game, because that's obviously, I've been looking about some of the stuff that you've got to do, and there's grinds like in Destiny, so it's up your street right off.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that.
But to be honest, I reckon that this is going to be like 20 or 30 quid in a couple of weeks, just because of all of the problems. It's had a bad launch. Had a really, really bad launch. It probably another couple of weeks being cooked better would have been, would have been a much improvement.
Okay.
So, by the way, guys, if you do have questions and that today, because we're doing it live, you can ask us. We might leave some of the questions until the question bit, but if you've got any particular questions about some of the stuff that we've been doing or talking about, please do ask it as well. Try and make it a bit more interactive than a normal show.
Yeah, they can interrupt when they want, eh?
We can see the questions as well. I presume you can there, Steve.
Hopefully, I don't know yet. We'll wait until I get to the bottom.
See, I keep naturally trying to look over to this side because I've got Steve here, but I've also got Steve here because I'm looking straight at Streamlabs. But also over here, I've also got the stream with the questions on as well, and I've got the questions there.
There's no questions in my list, so we failed.
No, there's no questions at all, because I thought, seeing as we were doing a live one, know, the idea was for people to come and join us and get involved as well.
So, anything else you've been up to then this week?
No, it's just been setting all of this up. So, for example, doing this graphic that's around us. And believe it or not, this text box thing, the chatbot, was the most difficult thing to set up on this whole thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because nowhere that I went online actually told you all of the steps to do it, and they all told you different bits to do. And you had to go onto the website, get a link up your account to Twitch and all this, that and the other, which it would have been quite much easier if somebody had just put it all in one video. So anyway, but it's been a bit of an experience. What I do want to say, one thing is just to, as well as everybody who has contributed, and I've just had a message off Ace Plant Man, he's just donated, so thanks for that, Mark, really appreciate it. But I also want to give a shout out for my family who've been tremendously supportive.
Well, you got to give a shout out to the missus, don't you, really? Because if it wasn't for her allowing you to do this the way you could, otherwise it would all gone pear-shaped. Yeah,
the missus has been absolutely fantastic. So just a shout out for her. My son as well, he's been really frustrated because he's wanted to help out. He's got his own channel, which is Zach Books as well, and he's wanted to help out, but he's not ready for that sort of thing. And it's kids who follow him; they're not going to be contributing towards to it. So I don't want it to demoralise him. But they've both been tremendously supportive of it, and I just want to just really thank them both. So love you both. Anyway, Steve, what else have you been doing?
Not a lot, really. A little bit of gaming. The bit I didn't mention last week, obviously, I completed Resident Evil for the second time.
Yeah.
Which I'll talk about that, which I did the Claire run.
Right.
And bit of Destiny is
normal. Was that run A or
normal.
run B?
That is 1A.
Right, okay, so you've done both A's.
Mm.
So is that the same story but with different characters?
It's the same story, but yeah, obviously you got Claire interacting with Leon in the Leon story.
Yeah.
So then I'm seeing the other side of Claire's story, which you don't see while you're playing Leon, because she's doing other stuff, if you know what I mean.
Right,
so
okay, sorry. Sorry, go on.
Go on. No, I was just going to say, because obviously they interweave in a story, and you, like, for example, there's a point, I won't go into it too much now, but there's a point where we see Claire at the back of the police station, while Leon's the other side of a bar, but obviously it spins round the other way at some point.
Yeah.
Bit confusing, but I'll talk about that a bit later as well. So, and I'll talk about my timing as well. That was quite interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what's the B story then? Is it just them swapped around?
It's going to probably be more of a cut down where you'll probably just end up starting at the police station.
Right, okay.
And also what it does do... Well, we'll talk about it in a bit anyway, because I don't want to use that now. Otherwise, my gaming would be down to about 0 otherwise.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's about it, really. Not too much.
Yeah.
Been watching a couple of movies, as I said. Funny thing, I will mention it now because it's not played it. I did stick on the PlayStation briefly, and I was looking at Detroit Become Human.
And have you finished it yet?
No, I haven't yet. No. But the reason I put it on was I just wanted to jog the missus' memory, because I was looking at something the other day, and I've been watching Grey's Anatomy with the missus now. We're actually watching season 15 at the moment.
Yeah.
And a character, well, an actor character in Grey's is one of the main characters in Detroit.
Right. Okay.
And she sort of dropped her coffee nearly enough. Oh really? Oh wow! Look at him. He's spot on, because obviously she's only seen him in the show.
Yeah.
And she thinks he's quite a bit of a hunk anyway. But that's by the by. But yeah, so that was quite interesting. I'm seeing it in a different light now because I've been watching him in this series for 15 seasons.
Is that how many seasons that there are of that? God, I thought it finished.
No, it's still on. Season 15 is on at the moment.
Just goes to prove, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's got a big following, so it's one of those sort of shows. Compared to some that I'm hearing rumours about, if we get to a little bit of news, we haven't got much there, but I have caught a little bit, which I've not got on the screen, but we can talk about, regarding the DC universe and the TV. The
return and the closure.
Or maybe closing of something, yeah. But yeah. So what about yourself? Anything else more you want to add?
No, I mean, to be honest, I haven't done much watching of films this week. I've been keeping up with Star Trek, really enjoying Discovery.
Yeah.
After being I'm worried about this, I think that they've reinvented Star Trek and whatever, and all of this, it's like the Enterprise is different to the original, and people are trying to make, putting all these points across about Star Trek being the Discovery being set in a different universe, like the Kelvin timeline, but in a different sort of way. Personally, why don't we just accept it as it's a graphical update from the original and just move on? Do you know what I mean? It's just time's moved on. We're not in the 1960s anymore. We can have pretty good looking ships.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's kind of my point of view on it, but well, we'll see. But no, I've been just, let's say, it's just been trying to think. Well, it took ages to think about what games to play as well, believe it or not.
Absolutely, yeah.
The Just Cause one was actually more popular than I thought it was. I had quite a good few people in the chat at some points in there. Shadow of War was all right. Hi there. Hello from We Are Gamers. So hi, thanks for coming along and supporting us there.
Well done, guys.
Yeah. Also, in terms of Frack, I'll ask you a question later. I've put it in our notes right now. He's got a question later on about the pass. So yeah, it's just all been for me this last week about getting ready for this. I started teaching on another night as well. So I'm just finished one course, started straight off onto another 4 weeks of teaching on a different evening. So. Bit tiring, but get there. Anyway, shall we move on to gaming this week? And we're not going to have a jingle this time because we're doing it live.
Well, that's one thing you haven't got to do, is it, this week, isn't it?
To be fair, on the audio podcast, I will cut it. And I will stick it in there. So
okay.
Yeah. But it's the audio version of the podcast, by the way, is going to probably be the end of tomorrow before I actually get it done, because I am actually shattered from playing 20 odd hours worth of video games over the weekend. Plus the fact I'm going to have to download this video and then rip out the audio and then clean the audio. So it's going to take quite a bit of doing. So anyway, Steve, have you got any gaming news for us? Because I've been setting this up, so I haven't had a chance to look.
Do you know I haven't noticed anything going on this week?
You haven't? Okay.
No, not a thing. I mean, there's maybe things we've missed, but with you doing that more as well, a lot of things are going to get a little bit short on. So
yeah,
just the way. So if we have forgotten something, I'm sure we'll bring it up next week when we get back to normal resume.
Yeah, we'll probably do that next time. But what I would say is, because I've been keeping an eye on the Twitter feed in terms of this weekend, because obviously we're doing this, but there's lots of other people who have been doing the Game Blast weekend as well. And so far, over 80 grand has been raised for charity, which is...
Yeah, because I think it was 30 grand come Friday night, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So it's about 80 grand now. So that is absolutely fantastic. There's been loads of people who've been involved on Twitch as well. I think it's been good, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, in that case, then, do you want to do the new releases, Steve?
Okay, so I'm going to have to turn to the left. So we've got 8-Bit Invaders on the PS4. This is at the 26th of the second. Aces of the Luftwaffe Squadron Edition, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. We've got Dirt Rally 2, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. We have that's Rad Rogers Radical Edition on Switch. We have got Trials Rising, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, which is actually, there's a beta on that at the moment somewhere.
Yeah, there is. If you go on to the Origin, not Origin, the Ubisoft,
because I had the email for
download, you can play it on there.
Yeah, I had the email for it, but I haven't been bothered at the minute.
Yeah.
What's that? Deltune, digital only on the Switch. That's on the 28th, and on the 1st of March we have the Dark Souls Trilogy, PS4, Xbox One, Dead or Alive 6, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and RPG Maker MV, PS4, Xbox One, Switch as well. That's it.
And we all know that Dead or Alive is the only game where you don't mind playing as a 100-year-old.
Yeah, that's it. I haven't played Dead or Alive for donkeys, must admit. It's been a while.
I haven't either. It's just kind of like one of those franchises that kind of seems to have gone really quite quiet, isn't it? I mean, think about Dead or Alive 5, when that was you could get that for free, couldn't you? You could play limited characters on it on the Xbox.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't one I played very much. Okay, video game charts then. So at number 5 we have FIFA 19, big surprise there. Number 4 is Jump Force. Number 3, we have Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 2, we have Metro Exodus. I didn't even know that was out. And at number 1, Metro Exodus. Sorry, I was thinking Metroid Prime now.
I was going to say.
Slightly different game. Yeah, Metro Exodus, because that was released this week. And also Far Cry New Dawn, which is one of the games that I've actually been streaming as well this weekend as well. So if you haven't seen that and you're interested, then just go and have a look in the videos after this. We don't know anything about any games with gold or PlayStation Plus yet, do we? Even though we're on the 24th.
No, I don't think I've seen anything yet.
No, I haven't. So, in that case then, Steve, tell us about your Claire run-through.
Yeah, so this was interesting because after talking to Nikki about this, I decided to go on an easier run.
Yeah.
So where I played Leon on normal, and to be honest, I did take a long time. I think I did about 14 hours. So on that run, I was running around, going to every room, really exploring the station. So when it comes to Claire, I did that in 7 hours, half the time, which I was quite impressed with. I loved the interaction with that side of the story.
Yeah.
The extra bit with the orphanage was pretty cool as well, which was not in the original game, which was good. And you get into play Sherry on that part of the game.
Yeah.
It was easier because I did knock it down to the lowest level, to the noob level for this, because it didn't need to be on normal. And I found it a bit easier because there was more bullets, they were less spongy, but it was just as fun. And the game, again, did still end in the same way. This is not really a spoiler, but if you're new to Resident Evil, turn off for 10 seconds. But if you, as you know, in Resident Evil 2, the second run you will get the creature on the train, which you don't get in the first run. So that will continue on. So I'm really looking forward to sticking that on at some point.
Is that the same train that's on Resident Evil 0?
Doubt it. I'm sure Nikki will say that it isn't. I don't think it is.
Nikki's our resident Evil historian, isn't he?
Oh yes, he does put me wrong occasionally. But yeah, no, it's obviously because you're stuck at the point where you might not even play the rest of the game, aren't you? So it's sad really, because it is a really good story. Graphically, it's amazing. Everything runs so fluidly, and it's just a great game. And you should go back and play it.
I think for me, with the PC save corrupting, and then it's seeming like I've got a completely different style, different load now, because some things that are done have been unlocked in a different sequence. I'm going to have to start it all again, I think, because I don't know really where I am. And I had got up to the bit where I'd got all of the things from the clock tower and all of that sort of stuff. So I was very close to actually leaving the police station. I'd done all the circuit breaker things that you have to do as well. That's where I'd got up to.
Yeah.
But now I just don't know where I am with it, which is
I found Mr. X a bit more easier on the second run.
I don't really find him that difficult, to be honest.
Well, because I just run away from him and leave him to follow, and I'll just jump through rooms and go around the quickest shortcut I can find. Yeah,
that's what I do.
You know, and you've got to remember, well, on the Xbox achievements and PlayStation, you've got to shoot his hat off for an achievement.
Yeah, I've done that.
So, but yeah, it's great. And there was some other bits and pieces. There's some achievements there that, if you don't know it and don't do it, you probably miss it.
Yeah.
But I won't say what they are, but because it'll spoil a part of the game. But yeah, it's very clever how they've done this, and I'm assuming we're going to hopefully see Resident Evil 3 Nemesis at some point.
That would be good, because I enjoyed that game as well. Nicky's saying, by the way, he did it in 8 and 4.
Yeah.
And when he's talking about Mr. X, he's saying annoying.
I think that was the case for a lot of people, to be honest.
Yeah.
I did have the not the original soundtrack for the second one. I put the new soundtrack on. which was pretty cool actually. That was still as good. But I do like the original soundtrack. It did give it a sense of a reminiscence of playing it of old. Back on the days on the PlayStation 1.
That was a long time ago.
It was, I know. But it is one of my favourite games I've ever played on the PlayStation, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know. Destiny 2, well, we can chat about that with yourself and how you're getting on. I've been grinding out some Gambit because I want to get my 3rd Prestige on Gambit done before the 2 weeks are up. The new DLC comes.
Mm.
So I was on that this afternoon, just doing some of that. How about yourself? Do you want to bring that in with what you've been playing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on about like level 6 or 9, 610 now.
Oh, well, you're ready. Well, you're ready for the probably to give it another go at the Forge then.
Yeah, definitely. Managed to really get up. So thanks to Prudy for joining us, because someone didn't.
No, that was the vodka talking, I'm afraid. But then again, chin chin.
Yeah, well, mine's chin, Diet Coke.
Oh.
So yeah, it was good thing we did the blind well.
Yeah, how'd you get on? Did you get some of the gear for that?
No, I didn't get any gear, but we did about 2 or 3 rounds, and we did kill the things at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were probably on it for about 3 hours last night.
Because if you go and get the bounties for that as well.
Yeah.
So you can be lucky and pick up some of the Revered Dawn for your character.
Yeah.
But it's like some of the weapons as well that you get for that place as well as what you do for Gambit. I mean, I was running around with the Truth again today.
Right.
That's a good hand cannon.
Mm.
And if you can grind out the Gambit, that's one of the weapons you can pick up.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bad Omen as well, which is a wicked rocket launcher.
Right, okay.
So there's a couple there if you're going to get into Gambit, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I do know they're going to, between probably sometime at the next reset, I think we're going to get a buff for people. They're going to do some like triple XP, so you can sort of up your Gambit level.
Okay.
So leading on, this is probably going to lead on to the DLC that comes, which is all Gambit, which is sort of Gambit related.
Right.
So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. We've got Spurs fan. Hi there, Spurs fan. Good evening and welcome as well.
Yeah, I don't know today's results, so I've looked at that. So I'm sure you can put them up there because I didn't see what was on today. But we don't talk about football much here. But Haydn doesn't like it.
Did you? Football. It's 22 blokes kicking an inflated piece of cow bottom up and down a 110-metre pitch.
Yeah, but we love it.
Okay, so what else have you been playing, Steve?
That's about it, really. Just been popping on between those 2 games.
So, did you do anything in Detroit other than show your missus?
Well, I just put it back on just to see where I was.
Okay.
And I just found the refuge.
Right.
So I don't know where that is in the story, whether that's halfway or what. I haven't got a clue.
Is that the one on the boat?
It was in like a big building.
No, if it was in a big building, I think the final refuge is in a boat, a ship.
Okay, so they were in this place with all the barrels which you lit up for fire everyone was keeping warm, and that's where I'm up to the minute, just chatting to the people to speak to someone I think called Lucy. So
yeah, and
that's with the character from Grey's Anatomy. So yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, cool.
I do want to go back to that game because I do like that sort of style of gaming.
Yeah,
but again, it's something else that probably took me away from it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, gaming-wise this weekend, I've done loads of gaming this week.
So I'll put my feet up, then you can crack on.
Well, I already mentioned about Destiny anyway. So, had a go on Just Cause this afternoon, Just Cause 4.
Mm.
I like that game. It can get quite mad.
Yeah.
It can get quite maddening. And the thing that for me that's the maddening bit is the on-screen prompts to where you're supposed to go. And some things are just quite cryptic, and sometimes it just doesn't bother telling you. And it's really annoying.
So, how do you compare this to Crackdown 3 now?
Well, Crackdown 3, you know exactly where you're going to go. So, just skipping over to Crackdown 3, actually, because probably that's the game I've played the most this week. Because, yes, I have actually played games before I started doing the streaming this week.
I did actually pop on with that briefly, just to check a few things, see where I was at, you know.
Yeah. Well, with Crackdown 3, I've been bombing my way through the campaign, and I'm at the final boss.
Oh, okay.
So I started off this last week, and I was not happy with the game at all. I didn't like it, didn't find it enjoyable, and I just thought it was pretty rubbish, pretty lame, to be quite honest with you. And then, for some reason, I carried on playing, and started to actually enjoy it, and I don't know why. I really, because
it's a fun game. That's all it is. It's just fun.
Yeah, I think it's probably when you start getting all of your orbs, and you start powering up, and you can start doing more stuff. That it then becomes much more fun. The initial sort of like couple of hours are quite boring, but I just worked my way clockwise around the map, and yeah, it was great fun. Some of the boss battles, they're either incredibly hard or incredibly easy. I've found the last battle seems to be quite hard at the moment, but then again, you know, we've said before about you can go into a game and you can fight and fight and fight all that you like, but you never get anywhere. And then you come back the next day, and then just you go straight past it. I didn't even have that wait. Just the next life. There's one guy who keeps teleporting himself up different levels, and when I actually went against him, I had him knocked down in like about 30 seconds on when he was at the last stage, whereas I died about 4 times before that. With him. It was really, really weird. But I'm playing it on tough level, I think, or whatever it is, which is, I think, their equivalent of normal.
Right, yeah.
You know, so, but the only thing I would say is the styling of it with the, you know, the over-the-top way that the characters are. Do you know what I mean? You know, they're dickheads. And the only people who will find them cool are 10-year-olds. Because the way that they carry on, it's just, you know, you can't operate as a functional human being like that. And I just, that to me, more than anything else, is what spoiled the game. You know, the cutscenes, I just skipped through them as quickly as I could.
Yeah, I take it for what it is. I don't think about it.
Yeah.
So it would just brush over me and just, you know, I'll listen to the story because there is a story to this at the end of the day.
Yes.
And, you know, I listen to what they say and it probably forgotten 2 minutes later and I'm off again hunting for that next orb.
Yeah. We're at 130 quid donation, by the way, Nicky's just said. So keep them coming in.
Oh, good.
Keep them coming in. I have actually been getting some money outside of here as well. My wife's worked tremendously hard at doing that. You know, she's been really supportive in that way as well. Anyway, Nicky's also saying that this is presently £28 on Shop 2. Is Crackdown.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Steve's now going to buy it. So when his camera goes off, that's because he's pressed the wrong button.
Hold on, must be fine.
Okay, so it's nothing like professionalism, is there?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Okay.
Game Pass. I mean, to be honest, I think that Game Pass is worth its weight in gold. There's loads of stuff that is coming on that, and I just think it's fantastic value as well. Do you think that all of the new Microsoft stuff goes on automatically?
Yeah.
Whereas with, things like EA, you get a 10-hour trial. You know, which then gets you to go and buy it. I mean, I've bought Anthem, but if it had been on EA that I could have just played straight off, I wouldn't have bothered.
Well, I mean, that's why I've got my 10 hours. I think that'd probably be more than enough at the minute. I'm so frightened this game's going to fail.
What? Crackdown?
No, Anthem at the moment.
Anthem. I think it'll get there. Sorry,
I don't want it to. I don't want it to.
No.
But I just feel we've got a slew of games now that aren't living up to expectations.
Yeah. And it's on multiple formats as well. I think that I'm starting to wonder whether or not, what's going on with BioWare, because Mass Effect was a letdown. And even with the enhancements that they did, it still wasn't what we wanted. Andromeda, I mean, by Mass Effect. I don't mean the original one. So I think that they're a bit like, the scientist who makes a massive invention that earns lots of money and then struggles to replicate that anywhere else in his career. But they've done it with the Mass Effect trilogy. Arguably, less so with some of the other trilogies that they've done, like Dragon Age and whatever, because I don't think that they've had as much of a wholesale appeal as in the way that Mass Effect has.
Yeah.
So, anyway, other games that I've been playing, I'm trying to think. I played Ace Combat 7 today.
Yeah, now, I was just talking about that because I did watch that while having my breakfast this morning.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the end, but obviously you didn't get to the finish of the mission.
No, and the thing is, what I struggle with that game is, again, it's incredibly picky about where you have to be and that sort of stuff in terms of that game, because the mission before, where you're going to the sky elevator or the space elevator.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. When the president's plane or helicopter gets shot down, if you're not within a certain radius of that helicopter, the mission fails. But, if it gets shot down, but if you're right next to it when it gets shot down, the mission passes. What's that about? I just don't get it.
That one I didn't have any issues with, to be honest.
Oh, I did.
But the one you're on at the minute, now, when I came off briefly, I put the PlayStation on, chucked the disc in and had a look. I'm on the same mission, ready to go.
Yeah.
And I looked at the planes I've got. Now I've got about 7 planes in my hangar.
Yeah.
And because you've got a mixture of air-to-air and air-to-ground...
Yeah.
What I was looking at was I got the MiG, I think it's the MiG 29A or something.
Yeah, same as what I was using on that mission.
Is it the MiG 29A?
Yeah.
And I got all the unlocks for the weapons for it.
Yeah.
Which I spent my credits on in the tree. And my thoughts is if you have your special weapon as air to ground.
Yeah.
And then have your other missiles for your air to air, that might help you better.
Maybe, but I'm not really sure in terms of that mission what it is I'm supposed to be doing, because it says to shoot all of the planes, but when you get into the mission, it then says take out the base.
That's because if you listen to the initial beginning of that, when it tells you what you got to do,
yeah,
I think it might break it down like that. So that's like 2 parts of the story of it.
Right. Okay.
But I was looking at, I've just bought some missiles where you can sort of aim for 4 at once.
Yeah, I've got those as well.
So that's pretty cool. But the air to ground and the plane I've got I think I've got about eight unlocks involved in upgrading it.
Yeah.
So this is all going to help you as you move on, progressing through the story, and especially with more planes you need to have for different missions.
Yeah.
But it's a good fun game.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I just find it to be just a bit annoying in terms of the mission parameters.
Yeah.
Both that and Just Cause, I just don't think they've got it quite right. But it looks absolutely amazing as a game. Almost photorealistic, and in some places it does look photorealistic. The planes are modelled absolutely beautifully on it.
Yeah, sometimes you have to blink to realise you're playing the game, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
there's nothing quite as satisfying as when you've been flying around chasing after something, doing a dogfight, and you finally get them.
Oh, there's some sort of satisfaction to that.
Yeah, there is. Definitely. Really, yeah, it's well worth digging out.
Mm.
So
there was another stream you did. I came in briefly.
Yeah.
But it was very empty. It looked like you were sort of in a jungle to a certain degree, but I didn't see a lot of...
That was Anthem.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was there a mech in it?
Didn't notice. Just saw your gun all the time, so I weren't really sure what it was. That was yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. Trying to think what game did I play yesterday?
Anyone
help me, guys? I can't remember.
Something you said in the stream was it's very empty in there on the map.
Oh, that was Apex.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was running around and I was looking for someone to shoot at, and then people would just nip out and bang bang and you were dead. But yeah, I was a bit. After everybody's been going on about Apex, but then again, it's that Battle Royale sort of thing. It's not my kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. I agree with you there.
Yeah. So, yeah, in matter of fact, I tried Apex because I couldn't get Anthem to work. That was one of the reasons why I stuck that game in instead, because I hadn't originally been planning on playing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a bit of Assassin's Creed Odyssey and had a bit of a bad experience with the streaming of that because it was choppy. And on my PC it was more or less fine. But I had to do things like limit the resolution, limit the frames per second, so that reduced the quality of what I was doing, but it speeded up the thing. But I know that I don't have OBS set up right in terms of the amount of resources that it's using for my PC at the moment. So this is a thing, it's streaming on a PC is much more of a science than it is streaming on a console.
It's click and play on a console, really, isn't it? It's not much to get involved in with it, is there?
Yeah. But I do seriously hope that they're going to improve on the next gen the streaming capabilities on consoles, because PlayStation have the best streaming ability at the moment. But what I don't like is the way that it wraps text so that you get half of a word on one line and the other half of it on another. I'd much rather it, do better hyphenation in terms of that. But also, you can't tweak the user interface, which would be good. And the only option you've got is to use an Elgato or a Hopage or something like that.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it from a PC, I'm just using Stream OBS, and I have my trusty Elgato Streamlabs, which is an absolute godsend, I have to admit. From the click of a button, I can change the scene on this. I don't need to be in the software. Before, if I wanted to change scenes, I'd have to switch windows and then change it in OBS. But no, not with this. It just does it straight away. It's absolutely fantastic. Great little thing. But yeah, I mean, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's a fantastic game. If anybody hasn't played that, it's the game to play now. It really is. And get the season pass with it as well, now that it's getting cheaper, because there is so much to it. And if you get the season pass, you will also get Assassin's Creed 3 remastered and Liberation as well, which was the Vita game that was then ported onto the 360 and the PC and the PS3.
Have we got a release date for that yet?
I think it's about the 29th of March.
Okay, quite a while away yet.
Yeah, but it's also coming to the Switch, evidently.
Yeah.
So, you know, that being on the Switch, that's going to be a major boom for that system as well, because I don't think I can't remember an Assassin's Creed game being on there.
Would it be too small for that screen, though?
No, I don't think so. And don't forget, also, you could be outputting to your TV as well. You don't have to play it on the screen.
Yeah, I keep thinking of it as a portable device more than a device that's connected to the TV.
Yeah.
But I mean, with Xbox Live as well going on there and all sorts, it's really you have the best of both worlds, really, aren't they?
Yeah, well, actually, that's Frax asked a question about that, so we'll talk about that later on in our questions. So Assassin's Creed Odyssey, played that, played Destiny, played... What else have I played? Shadow of War. Middle-earth, Shadow of War.
I've not touched this yet. I've got this game in my collection.
You've got it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sure I have. On the Xbox.
Right, I've got it on the Xbox, the PlayStation and the PC.
Of course you have.
Of course I have.
You have to have all three.
Yes, exactly. Because they need the sets. But it's really good, but I'll tell you what, it's because it's been a couple of months since I've touched it, I couldn't remember how to play it.
That's the sort of game you start from the beginning now, isn't it?
Probably is, but I was 10 hours in, I was not going to start from the beginning on that again.
Maybe not, no.
I remembered it generally, but I couldn't remember the controls, do you know what I mean? But the maps are massive on that, because you don't have just one location, you have several different locations to go at, which makes it, quite challenging. And the Nemesis system is present in this game again, the same as it was in Shadow of Mordor, but the difference this time is that you recruit an army. So people who are your nemesis, if you get them down to a certain point, you can actually convert them, and then they can become part of your army.
The same way it works in Assassin's Creed, isn't it? Where you can do that with the boats.
With the boats?
Yeah, with the boats, you can, when you take over the boats, you can recruit the guys for your team.
Oh yeah, on Black Flag, you mean?
Well, no, and on the latest one.
Can you do that?
Yeah, there's some. I've took out characters on that, and they said, "Do you want to join us?"
Oh right, yeah, certain characters, yeah, but they join your crew. They don't join you as a separate.
No.
Yeah, and to be honest, that just gives you both perks. But it actually gives a character that'll come into battle with you, so that when you go into the main castle at the end of that map, when you've killed off all of the other bad guys, all of the other orcs, they'll go into battle fighting against whoever is the warrior leader in that area.
Okay.
So, and one thing I also like about this as well is when they do kill you, they level up. So, and they'll remember you.
So, like, but are they harder to kill every time you die then?
Yeah, so they go up a couple of levels.
That gets annoying, doesn't it?
Yeah, but also they mock you. Because they turn around and says, "Well, I thought I killed you, back for more," and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
So it just makes it a bit more fun, that sort of thing. But the guy who, at the end of my stream, killed me, he snapped my sword as well. So I've got to go kill him to get my sword back. But it's very, it's a clever way of doing it, I think. Although it did feel like a little bit overly complex. And for some reason, it didn't do fantastically well in terms of the charts, because it was there, people liked it, and then it just disappeared. But it's really worth a go.
I mean, the first game got a lot of praise, didn't it?
Yeah, and that came out of nowhere.
But that was I remember playing that at EGX down at Earl's Court that year.
Yeah.
And for me, that was my game of the weekend.
Yeah.
I remember rightly.
So what's that? Frack saying he's eyeing up my chair. It's an Empire. That's what it is. Empire Gaming chair. It's a proper gamer's chair.
Not like my rickety old thing I've got. That does spin around though.
Yeah, mine spins around as well. But yeah, it's another really good, really good game to play, and you can now pick that up for relatively cheap, especially on the PC. I think you can get the one with the season pass for about something like £10. Which is,
every time there's a deal on Xbox, it's normally sitting there somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But well worth it. It's it's a game that'll take. I reckon it must be going to take about 30-40 hours to complete this game. Quite easily. I mean, I was spending 2 hours and I didn't really make much progress in the area at all. Granted, some of that was trying to remember the controls again, but also there's just so much to do, and that was one area. So
yeah.
See, what other games have I played this week? I have played, just trying to find a list of everything I've done. My memory's shot after this week. Far Cry New Dawn, forgot to mention about that. So this is the latest one in the Far Cry series, and it's the follow-up to Far Cry 5. It's the first time I think that there's been an actual follow-up on another game on Far Cry, and it's set in the aftermaths of one of the possible endings of that game.
Okay.
And your sort of game, because it's post-nuclear apocalyptic environment.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of those at the moment, isn't there? So,
yeah. So, spoiler alert. I've already spoiled it, so whatever. But one of the endings on Far Cry, a nuclear bomb can get set off. Well, evidently that, for some reason, meant that the whole world had nuclear bombs setting off. And as a result, this is now something like 15 years, 20 years later, and it's a whole new world, hence, New Dawn. And it's a beautifully coloured and bright world. And the big bad guys this time are two twin, some sisters that you have to go and take them down.
Okay.
Other than that, it's Far Cry, so there's a whole host of weapons, there's a whole host of vehicles that you can use. It uses exactly the same sort of mechanics as Far Cry 5 did, just a little bit more developed on. The map, because you're still in Hope County for it, the map has changed from Far Cry 5, but what you can do now is you can also do excursions to other areas. So you get it's like a helicopter ride, and you go to a smaller map and go around.
Oh, okay.
So again, it's been streamed, so have a check out on the stream and see if it's the type of thing that you actually want to play as well. But personally, I really like the game. I think it's good.
You're a bit of a Far Cry fan, to be honest, aren't you? So
I never used to be, though. When it first was released, Far Cry 1 and 2, I loved.
Yeah.
Far Cry 3, didn't like. Far Cry 4, didn't like. Primal, didn't like. And then Far Cry 5, I don't know what it was, but it just struck with me. So
yeah, crazy, isn't it?
It is. But
there's so many games out at the minute. It's ridiculous. You can't. I think it's just hard to play them all at the moment.
Yeah. There's absolutely loads to play.
I'm sure summer's going to probably at one point it's going to sort of fall flat for a bit. And there you can pick up with all those games that you haven't played. I think So you got between now and E3.
Well, you got May to September, haven't you?
Yeah, which is a bit. I don't know if that's going to be a lean period, and I haven't seen the list for that.
Well, it normally is, isn't it? Because nobody releases games at the beginning of the summer holidays for whatever reason.
So, but there's plenty out this side of the month that you can dig into to keep you busy. You know, which people were moaning out originally that they never had nothing new to play. So it's a win-win for gamers.
Yeah, true. So I think that's everything that I've played. Quite a few things.
You sure? Because you played a fair bit. I know it's hard to remember it all.
Yeah, it is, because the whole last 3 days have kind of like blurred into one. I've just had a controller of one variety or another, or a keyboard in my hand the whole time.
So come next week's podcast, gaming's going to be limited for you then, because you'll be knackered.
Gaming will be limited because I'm probably going to be told that, well, get off that computer now. You've had the weekend playing games.
You could just say you're still doing it and not tell her.
I think that she would know. Bless her. I have to be fair to her. Because, she is tired from it all as well. So
yeah,
I think she's tired from me talking about it more than anything else. So, okay, anything to add about gaming?
Not really, no. I think the main thing of this weekend's all been about yourself with Game Blast, so I think that's covered anyway, so that's good. It is.
And don't forget, if you do want to donate, and please do if you haven't already, then just look at the ticker tape that's going on below us on the screen, and in a second you'll be able to see what the address is. Here it is, it's coming up. So help to support us, the Special Effects charity, and their Game Blast by donating at www.justgiving.com/fundraising/popculturegamers. So I said we're not. I don't think we're going to hit the £500 mark, but it would be nice if we could maybe hit a couple of £100.
Yeah, I mean every bit counts, so
it does. Even if it's just £1, it doesn't matter. It's not coming. Any part of it's coming to the show. It's all going to charity. So please do contribute. All right, let's go on to movies, TV, and streaming. And we're leaving the pause in there so that I can cut that out and make it into the audio podcast, so anybody who's not joining in can actually enjoy listening to this as well, or at least just listen to it even if they're not enjoying it. So, Steve, movies, TV and streaming. We got similar releases this week. What have we got?
Well, so 27th of Feb, we've got Fighting With My Family.
Yeah.
1st of March, we've got The Hole in the Ground, Serenity, which I'll come back to in a minute.
Yeah.
The Aftermath.
Yeah.
What They Had, and Sauvage.
Okay.
Now, what do you think's interesting about Serenity? Any idea why I'm going to pick that one out?
Is it a Firefly movie?
It's not. No, actually, when my eyes pricked up when I saw about this. No. The reason I'm going to mention it is that it's out on the 1st of March in cinemas.
Okay.
But Friday, it's coming to Sky straight away.
Oh, it's one of these dual ones.
Yeah.
So what is it?
So basically, this has got Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway.
All right. Okay.
Fisherboat captain juggles facing his mysterious past and finding himself ensnared in a reality which nothing seems what it seems to be. So apparently, it's a sort of a steamy thriller.
Right.
So it could be worth it. I mean, I might watch it next weekend anyway and give it a go.
Yeah.
But it's quite cool they do this. I mean, it's only got 5.2 on the Internet Movie Database. But I don't know how this always works with Sky, how they get these straight in. I don't know how that works, to be honest.
So it is a tremendously average film then?
Yes.
Yes.
5.2 ain't great, is it?
No, not really.
But some of these some of these movies that are like this sometimes can be gems, but
yeah,
you got a couple of good stars in the film as well.
At the end of the day, films are art, and art's subjective.
Exactly. So yeah, that'd be interesting. So yeah, pretty cool. You're going to do Blu-ray?
Blu-ray. Okay, so Blu-ray, to be honest, I think it's a pretty rubbish week.
No, it's a fantastic week.
There's something in that list that you want, isn't there? Are you ordered?
It's coming Monday. I ordered this in December. Come on.
All right. Well, for me, there is Doctor Who, the collection season 18. There is Les Miserables, the BBC TV series, if you like that. Schindler's List in 4K. And that's
Glorious
all the
Black.
ones I've picked out. So what have you picked out, Steve?
Halloween 2018.
Oh, missed that. Yeah, Halloween as well.
So that came out October last year.
Yeah.
That's coming to my doorstep tomorrow. So I should look forward to that. Another John Carpenter Blu-ray to add to my collection.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, my next two movies I'm talking about are John Carpenter movies. But there you go. It's just the way it is.
Okay. Do you want to do cinema charts?
Okay, so we got at 5 we got The Green Book. 4 we got. I'm gonna have to zoom in closer to do this.
Alita,
Battle Angel. 3 we've got How to Train Your Dragon. 2 is Instant Family, and number 1 the Lego Movie 2.
yay! And everything is awesome with that.
Obviously, and remember we've got the Oscars tonight, haven't we?
Yes, we have. So we'll probably go over those next week, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Or we could maybe do another live special.
Not at that time of the morning.
Do a reaction one. Oh my god!
The reaction would
Remy
be
Malek
about
got
6,
best actor.
it'd be 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I'm off for the next 2 days, so I'm all right.
Oh, that's okay then.
Okay, so in that case then, the Blu-ray and DVD charts this week, we have at number 5, Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm surprised that's still in the charts. We have The House with Clocks in Its Walls. We have The Predator, which isn't half as bad as what some people say it is. We have
Okay.
number... Sorry?
Okay, that's fine.
We have at number 2, Venom, which is half as bad as what some people say it is. And at number 1, A Star Is Born.
Which will get a few Oscars, I feel, this week.
Yes, I think
Tonight.
it will as well.
So
Okay.
nothing floats your boat there then at the moment?
Well-
you've seen Ant-Man, you've seen Predator and Venom.
I've got The Predator, I've got Ant-Man, I've seen Venom. I have no desire to watch House with the Clock in Its Walls.
That's Jack Black, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And A Star Is Born. Chick flick.
Yeah, but you might have to one day watch that with the missus at some point, I'm sure.
No, I'll do what she always does. Say, "Oh, are you watching this?" "Oh, well, I'll go upstairs then." You know that there are several stages to marriage, don't you? Or to a relationship. Have I ever told you this?
I know, I've been through them all.
Yeah. Well, you know that the opening stage is, you find out that your other half doesn't like something, so you never put it on. And then when you get to be a bit more confident, you have it on, and then when she walks in the room, you switch it off. And then after a little bit longer, she walks in the room, and you still got it on, and then she says, "Can you switch it off?" And you do.
Mm.
And then the next stage is, she comes in, she sits down, and she's looking at the screen and says, "Are you going to watch that?" She said, "Well, I did want to finish watching it." And he said, "But I'll switch it off." And then the final stage is, she comes in, she sits down, she says, "Are you watching that?" "Yes, I am." "Well, if you're going to watch that, I'm going to go to bed. Good night." That's the final stage.
Oh, I don't have it too bad, actually, to be honest.
Sorry?
I don't have it too bad.
No, well, your wife watches more of your sort of stuff than mine does.
Well, I stuck on this movie that I was supposed to watch last night, this afternoon. And she said, "Haven't you seen this?" I said, "Actually, I've not seen it all the way through, to be honest." And when we're talking about the original movie, yes, we have seen, but so I know what's coming because it's a remake. But
Yeah.
But it's all right, actually. I saw about in a sec, but yeah. Shall I scroll into it then?
Yeah, go on then.
So, the first film is this one here, Village of the Damned.
Right.
And this is the one I just picked up on Audible.
Okay.
So the backstory to this is one of my favourite classic sci-fi movies of the day is Village of the Damned. This was out in 1960.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite an old movie.
It's a load of blonde kids living in a village, isn't it?
Well, yeah. What happens is it's a quaint little village. The village fall to sleep for about 6 hours, and all the women become pregnant. And this causes a bit of a ruckus in the household, because there's one guy that's been away for a year, and he comes back and his wife's pregnant. try and get out of that one, but
cryogenic and a turkey baster.
Yeah, probably, yeah. So a small town of women give birth to these unfriendly alien children posing as humans.
Okay.
And the remake, which was done by John Carpenter back in 1995, has a pretty good cast in it.
Right.
So you've got Christopher Reeve, you've got Kirstie Alley, you've got Linda Kowalski. Do you remember her in Crocodile Dundee?
Yes. Didn't she become Mrs. Crocodile Dundee as well in real life?
She is, yeah.
Yeah.
She was, yeah. And the guy playing the priest in this is Mark Hamill.
Is Mark Hamill in it? I never knew he was in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's worth a watch. I mean, I love the original movie, and it does keep to the same story, but it does change slightly. It's not identical as the original film, and the book. I'll get to read the book or listen to the book at some point.
Yeah. But
it's all right. It's not John Carpenter's one of his better movies,
okay.
But I quite like it. It's great to see Christopher Reeve acting.
Yeah.
And also Kirstie Alley obviously played Sarek in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
And was also in Cheers as well.
Yeah, she was. So
and was also in Look Who's Talking.
And the other character you might recognise actually would be Peter Jason, who was in They Live, another one of Carpenter's movies.
Yeah.
But it's a good fun movie. It's not bad. I quite like it. It's to say, don't know if people like to watch older movies. It's not that old, 1995. It's about an hour and 40 minutes.
So it's a remake of the 1960s one.
Yeah, that's right, with the same name.
Yeah.
But obviously the original was based in an English village, but this is based in an American town instead. You know?
Right.
But yeah, it's good. It's worth a watch.
Because they've done a few sort of remakes like that, haven't they? Because they also did the Stepford Wives.
That was done from some point, wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
Wasn't it Nicole Kidman in that?
There was a movie she did where...
She did one with Daniel Craig, which was a remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
No, I think you're getting confused now.
No,
the Invasion...
No, there was... She did... I know she did one with Daniel Craig that was a remake of that, but there was a Stepford Wives. That was Matthew Broderick, wasn't it, who did that?
Yeah, Invasion of Body Snatchers, the remake of that was with Leonard Nimoy.
No, this was another one.
And Donald Sutherland, that was the one I remember.
No, I can't remember what it was called. I'll look it up. So carry on telling us about that while I look this one up.
So it's not much to the story, but what happens is they're very telepathic, and they can get people to do what they want them to do.
Okay.
So certain people that cross them come to a sticky wicket. So all their eyes glow. They stare at someone, and they'll get them to commit suicide or whatever. So there's quite a few deaths in that. And there's a little tweak to the story which I won't mention, which was different to the original, but which made the ending slightly different as well.
Right.
But yeah, overall, it's a bit of a fun movie. I quite liked it. So I don't have. Even though I love John Carpenter that much, there are a list from top to bottom. This one's probably nearer the bottom, but I still quite like it. It's cool, The second movie, which just got released on 4K, is this one here. So that's Prince of Darkness.
I quite fancy watching that. What's it about?
So,
other than the devil.
So what this one's about is there's this old church, and in there there's a research team looking at this mysterious green cylinder.
Yeah.
And if it's opened, it could be the end of the world. So this is linked to Satan and all of that.
Right, okay.
And if you've seen any clips of the trailers there, you see a lot of the tramps all sort of hypnotised by it all.
Right.
And they're sort of trying to protect the church.
Okay.
I tell you why you quite might like it. Now, the cast list is quite good for this one. You've got Donald Pleasance plays a priest,
Okay.
who obviously was in the Halloween movies. You got Victor Wong. He was in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, he was the bus driver, wasn't he?
That's it. You got Dennis Dunn in it, who was the other character alongside Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
In Big Trouble in Little China. Peter Jason again, who's in They Live, is in this as well, so he floats around quite a bit. And it's not a bad film. It's very niche from the point of the fact it's not instant horror all the time. And yeah, I quite like it. It's very good, and I haven't watched it for a long time, but to get the 4K remastered version of it, it does look good. And being the collector's edition, as I said before, it comes with a soundtrack, DVD, Blu-ray, and a shed load of extras on a separate disc.
Yeah.
With interviews as well. If you're a fan of these movies, they do give you a lot of information. And the soundtrack is pretty awesome too on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I've got The Fog and They Live on normal DVD, but I've got Escape from New York on 4K.
Yeah, which is the collector's edition one, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's got the soundtrack. I've always wanted a soundtrack for that. By the way, if it'll show, it's called The Invasion. I didn't dream it.
No, do you know, I have seen that. Isn't The Invasion, who else is in that? Because I've got a funny feeling his wife's in it, Daniel Craig's missus.
Yeah, because his wife was the woman off the
Mummy movies.
The Mummy movies. Let's have a look. So there's Jeremy Northam, Jackson Bond. Oops. Victoria Cartwright. I don't think his wife is in it, actually.
Isn't she?
No, can't see her.
What's it called? Invasion, wasn't it?
The Invasion. But it's a really good movie, is that one. I enjoyed that tremendously. And it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers remake.
Do you know, I do remember seeing it, but it doesn't stick in my brain.
Yeah. I've got it on DVD.
I think there's another movie that he did, which I'd have to look up, which had a bit of a twist in the tale, because he was married to his wife. Well, he's married to I can't think of who it was now, but there was a twist in the story where he wasn't married and he was. He
looks very different. It's too bright for it, but he looks very different in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's got like longer hair. Because we normally see Daniel Craig with quite short hair.
He looks much younger though, doesn't he?
Well, it is a few years ago, isn't it? What year is the actual movie? Let me just have a look. It's
after Leg.
2007, so it's 12 years ago. So he will look a bit younger.
Yeah.
Because Daniel Craig was born in 68, so what's that make him? 51. So he'd have been 39 then.
Yeah. So his wife's Rachel Weisz, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I'm sure she's done a movie with him at some point. It's I can't remember the outline of the story, but I just remember the background. It was quite a little while ago as well. But I'll have to dig that out and have a look for it. But yeah, no. Daniel Craig's getting ready now for Bond. Was it 25?
Yes, with Shatterhand.
code name Shatterhand, and there's been a lot of Shat jokes going around.
Well, I've got an exclusive. I know what the story is.
It's Blofeld, isn't it?
No,
that's...
no, it's not Blofeld. That was Spectre. No, this one is that James Bond goes into home base to find out why a load of people have been getting their hands hurt in DIY accidents.
Yeah, actually, no. Shatterhand is a nickname for Blofeld. So,
I just think that they've ruined Bond with the last one, Spectre. They completely ruined it. Much more than The Vanish did.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
There's too much of that now because everybody's being edgy by doing something that wouldn't have been thought of because it was a rubbish idea. You know what I mean? And they think that they're being, I don't know.
I know it's a shame. I mean, we've got, say, 25... Well, it's been the 25th Bond movie.
Yeah.
I know we've all got our favourites, and, everyone was praising Casino Royale when it came out. But it's sort of gone a bit stale now.
Well, it's Jason Bourne with James Bond's name.
Would you rather them go back to the old style Bonds?
Yeah.
Have it a bit, maybe not so camp, but just a bit more, just the way they used to play them out.
Yes. I'd much rather have... So that was the whole point of Bond. It was... The Bourne sort of slightly more realistic style, it doesn't do anything for... Bond was like a camp over-the-top character, and trying to make it more realistic goes in the face of the fact that all of the bad guys know exactly who he is before he actually does anything while he's, It's just... They've ruined Bond. And Daniel Craig being Bond, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that was the worst choice for the next movie.
Yeah. Well, we won't talk about who's going to be next Bond because we'd be all night.
Well, we've already done that. Just go to show number 1, folks.
Yeah, that's right.
Nicky said to make Bond a black woman.
God, he would say that, wouldn't he?
Yep, and we vote for making Nikki Queen Victoria. Oh, sorry, Queen Elizabeth.
I tell you, how about Terry Crews?
What, as Queen Elizabeth II?
That's James Bond.
No.
He could play it very camp as well. It'd be funny.
No, please God, no. Well, sticking with your sort of old movies and, like slight remakes of old movies, or variations of, or, homages to, I have actually watched a movie this week, which is a homage.
Yeah.
It's the least favoured homage in the trilogy, and there's ice cream in it.
Oh, okay. I know where you're going with this.
World's End.
Yeah, do you know what? I've watched it 2 or 3 times now, but it's not as good as the other 2.
No, it's not as good as the other 2, but I still like the movie, to be fair. It's a good laugh. So, why not? It's just a bit of fun.
Because they do call this the Cornetto trilogy.
Yes, they do call it the Cornetto trilogy because they eat a Cornetto in each movie.
Yeah.
So it's not just one Cornetto.
Because actually, I turned on ITV the other night, and Shaun of the Dead was on at the time, and suddenly I just sit there and just sort of stare and watch it. It's just one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
You put it on.
Yeah. I love the trilogy. The World's End is the weakest one out of all of them, but Shaun of the Dead, I just love that. I hadn't realised it, but what I found out in horror is that zombies are like my favourite thing in horror. It had never dawned on me before, but most of the things I like end up having zombies in if they're horror.
So why don't you start trying watching some of George A. Romero's movies?
I've
then?
watched them. I've watched them.
All of them?
I'm pretty sure I've seen most of them.
So have you seen both Dawn of the Dead?
Yeah.
They remade that as well.
Yeah.
To make the zombies run faster for some unknown reason.
Yeah. I've watched World War Z. I know that's not him, but I've watched World War Z as well, where they do run fast there. I quite like the twist in World War Z in terms of, you know, the reimagining of what zombies are like. And there's another one, Warm Bodies, which is like
Yes.
a
It's a bit of a rom-com, isn't it?
Rom-com. That's quite good, and it's got him off about a boy and who was based on the X-Men First Class movie.
Yeah, I've seen that film. That's quite good, actually.
Yeah, and there was another one that I was watching the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and they were finding a cure. I can't remember what it was called. It was on Netflix, but they'd cured people from being zombies.
Yeah.
But that people were afraid of them, and some people were, it had affected them mentally and stuff like that, and then they went back to sympathise with with the zombies and went against people. I can't remember what it was called though. Zombieland, yeah, Nikki, I've watched Zombieland as well.
Well, their sequel's out soon, isn't it?
It is very soon as well. The only problem is the guy who played Lex Luthor on Justice League, I can't stand him. You know how there's always somebody who you would quite happily put to sleep to put out of your misery. He's one of them. I can't stand him as an actor. I just think he's absolutely useless.
Have you seen Dead Snow?
No.
That's what I've not. I've been wanting to watch it for quite a while. Nazi zombies.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. I've wanted to watch that as well, but it's not come on Netflix or anything like that, has it?
No. And you got 28 Days Later and the sequel to that.
28 Weeks Later with Robert Carlyle.
That's it.
Yeah, both of those are good films as well. Really enjoyed them. It's a bit dark. It's 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
28 Weeks Later is a different feel to it.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to think of some more ones. My favourites are The Dawn of the Dead, the original one from 1979.
Yeah.
Day of the Dead, which was the sequel to that.
Yeah.
And obviously the original was Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
So zombies does get a fair bit of a shout out in movies these days. Actually, sorry, Dawn of the Dead was 1978 when that came out.
Yeah.
But that's class. That's just great films.
Yeah, and I quite like which you introduced me to, which is iZombie.
Yeah.
That's a good laugh, is that show?
Which is very tongue in cheek, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But I love the way that zombies are integrated. But I love the fact that the big bad company. Well, is it a big bad company? But it's called Fillmore Graves.
Yeah. Maybe you should actually once you check out on Netflix.
Yeah.
Is The Return of the Living Dead?
Yeah.
Because that's a tongue in cheek 80s movie.
It is.
So that's a laugh. And I think the remake of Dawn of the Dead. There's quite a few. I won't scroll down. There's quite a few people that have been in that one, and for some unknown reason, when that was being released in the cinema, Channel 4 were allowed to show the first 10 minutes. Did you see that?
No, I did. Probably a PR sort of stunt, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they did, and they showed the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Good. I don't know why I like zombie movies, though. It's weird.
And then again, at the moment, I think The Walking Dead's going into a bit of a dip.
What is The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I think the show itself, is it's not holding up as much as it used to. And I think there's rumblings of talks about that problem. I know that there's going to be a zombie movie with Rick in it.
Yeah, a trilogy, evidently.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been watching a new season, and I'm actually quite intrigued by it.
Yeah.
The whole concept of these people who dress up as zombies and walk in herds and can control them as well.
Oh, okay.
I find that, quite interesting. I think the problem is that they appear to have lost two main characters right off the bat in this season, or this part of the season, which is Maggie has gone. And she went for some reason, but we don't know why. And obviously Rick. And this is now...
Have they actually left the show now? 'Cause I haven't been
yeah, he's left the show. But the second half of season 9 is like 5 years later.
So you don't know... So that middle bit is missing for the movies, I presume.
Maybe that's what the movie's going to be about. But there's also Fear the Walking Dead as well, isn't there? That one's going as well.
I wasn't too keen on that, to be honest.
No, I must admit I stopped watching that, which I was actually enjoying it. I just stopped watching it, and I don't know why. But I might go back to that because obviously tonight it'll be The Walking Dead on Fox, won't it? That I think that's on now or in 25 minutes.
It's not on Channel 4 yet, then?
No, it's on Fox.
Because normally my box will record it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But I don't know, it'd be interesting to see if they carry on, because in theory, in terms of The Walking Dead, they could keep the show going on for years. Because they just bring new characters in, new people who wander in from somewhere.
Well, they've always been able to do that. And it depends. Would you like to see the video game side of that join it in some point?
Well, I thought it was supposed to have, with like Michonne and stuff like that. There's been elements.
Well, Michonne's been in it, hasn't she? But I'm talking about the earlier part of the Telltale series.
Yeah.
If Clementine ended up in it or something like that.
Oh, I think that they should get Clementine into the game, into the movie or the TV series. I think that would be a really, really good tie-in.
Yeah. And probably that might even get a lot of interest back into it as well.
I think it would, because it would start to bring in the fans of the video game who maybe didn't watch the show. Although I would have thought probably it's mostly the show, show watchers who play the game.
No, that's true.
Having said that, though, I played Game of Thrones before I watched the series.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'd watched a couple of episodes, but never really bothered.
Right. I don't. There's something else. I think depending on how they're going to play this out. Do you remember the movie Creepshow?
Yes.
There's going to be a TV series.
Yes.
I don't know at the moment where it's coming from, whether it's Netflix or whatnot.
Okay.
But rumours about it have just started to emerge,
yeah.
And they started to put a cast together.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested in that, because I do love Creepshow. And again, because Stephen King joined in with George R. R. Romero to do the first movie.
Yeah.
And I think even one of those was a zombie episode, if I remember rightly.
Is it?
Yeah, there was the one with Leslie Nielsen, that episode in the movie, where he was buried up to his neck in sand.
I don't remember that.
No.
Don't remember that at all, I'm afraid.
Well, there's another. We've got these different services now for with Netflix and Amazon.
Yeah.
There's another one there I'd like to look at, but it means more money.
Right.
And it's called Shudder.
I've not heard of them.
And that solely does horror.
Right. So it's right up your street then.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it's linked to Amazon.
Is it?
Yeah. So if you went onto Amazon Prime, you will see Shudder as another one you could actually add to your subscription service. So if it ends up being on Shudder, then I might have to go. I think you can do it for a week. You can do a trial for a week free.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, actually looking at this, it looks like it may well be Shudder that's going to get it. So okay. Oh god, that means I will have to go and pick that up. But yeah, horror. I just don't know what it's with me lately. Horror has just come back into my life more than ever.
Yeah.
And I think there's quite a lot of movies coming out these days which are like The Nun of late, and we've got the Insidious movies and stuff like that. Mm. But I don't see the movies that they used to make in the 80s where they were so much fun as well.
Yeah.
Occasionally you get a remake or two on them. But yeah, I just love the horror movies genre. I really do.
Well, thinking about horror, but it's sort of like very light core sci-fi horror.
Mm.
There's also the new series of The Twilight Zone, a remake as well, isn't there?
Excuse me. Yeah, there is. And there's even going to be a... How do I put it? A live stage show as well.
Has not heard about that.
Yeah, it's coming to the UK.
Right.
It's just called The Twilight Zone. I don't know if it's like going to have a few stories from the past that Rod Steiger did. Mm-hmm. But I love that show. I love that show so much. The black and white from the 60s. I used to love watching that.
Yeah.
And there's some classic stories there with some big actors. They all had their foot in the door for that.
Oh yeah. I mean, even on the 80s remake of The Twilight Zone as well.
Mm. Well, yeah, because you had John Lithgow.
Yes.
Playing the one which William Shatner did in the 60s.
Yes, that's right.
With that gremlin on the plane.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're great. I'd love to pick up that box set. It must cost a fortune though.
I don't think it does actually. I don't think it's that expensive because it's on DVD for a start off.
Yeah. And I know Amazon have got a couple of Twilight Zone episodes there that are called Lost Episodes. But I just love the original show as it was back in the 60s, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid.
Mm.
That and Tales of the Unexpected.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Remember all that hand movement?
Well, there was the Hammer House of Horror TV show as well. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So I just remember one episode about a house. I think it's called The House That Drips Blood or something like that.
I remember one episode from the Hammer House things. It might have been part of a one film where it was John Pertwee.
Yeah, good old Doctor Who.
Yeah, and he was a character who was an actor playing Dracula, but the set designers actually gave him Dracula's cape. Like,
oh, okay.
The proper Dracula's cape, and then it did something to him. Was a bit of a weird one.
Oh, yeah. I'm just thinking of Fright Night now, that other movie that was... I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yeah, I saw Fright Night.
You know, but yeah, they were pretty good. I did enjoy it.
And The Outer Limits as well.
Well, yeah, because that was sort of came after the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Similar sort of stories with some classic looking aliens as well with big heads.
Yeah.
If you remember rightly. And yeah, no, I just used to come back from the pub on a Friday, Saturday night, and they'd be on BBC Two or something like that at the time.
Yeah.
So
they were the days.
Oh God, were they just? Anything else you want to go on before we go to questions?
No, let's go on to our listener questions. All right, so we've going to have it a little bit different this time because we do have ones that are on that people have sent in. I will start off with Mark as normal, but also we have up here above my head the Twitter feed where people can also submit a question if you want to. So we'll go through what we've got on here first, and then we'll go on to the Twitter questions afterwards because we have a few people in the stream. So Mark's asking first off, what are the best movie game tie-ins? What would be your ideal movie game tie-in?
Well, they've normally been pretty poor of late.
Yeah.
We had a Back to the Future with Telltale.
That's quite an old one. That goes back to PS3.
Which wasn't that great, was it?
No.
I think, with Telltale, we've had Batman, obviously, and...
but that's been tied up to a character, not to a movie.
We've had Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Which I've not seen, actually. I'd like to have a look at that.
Right.
But if you had something like that was more of a full story, obviously the way that was, I don't know graphically how that looks or how that progresses if it's like a Telltale game.
Yeah.
But you could be Taylor who's come out of the sky with his aircraft onto the planet and that, on the Planet of the Apes maybe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something that we could think of there.
The Mad Max game, that was sort of tied up with Fury Road a little bit, wasn't it? That was all right.
It was, and I need to play that game. I really should go back to that.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge Mad Max fan, and as I've been putting a couple of videos of late, the last couple of days, it's 40 years old this month.
God, is it?
Yeah, and if you check out on Twitter, I did put a couple of YouTube clips where people did like parades of the cars they built.
Yeah.
So especially from the first movie with the Interceptor and the V8 and the original yellow police car they had at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
And then they were talking to all the actors. So that's really worth a look at. And they're all getting so old now as well. It's frightening, absolutely frightening.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to see a decent Star Trek game.
Yes.
But that's not really happened, is it?
Well, you could say Star Trek Online because that ties in.
True, but like we did have a Star Trek game where we had from the Kelvin timeline.
Yes. I didn't think that was as bad as people made it out to be. I completed that game. I enjoyed it. It was all right. It wasn't fantastic.
Yeah, and we had, was it Tron Legacy?
Yes. No, it was like it wasn't Tron Legacy, was it? It was Tron R something, if I remember rightly.
Okay, you'd have to double check it then, have a look. But I'm sure because I've got that on my back compat list.
Yes,
that sits in there.
Yeah, Oblivion had Picard in it. Nicky, you're right. He did the opening talk.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was tied into Star Trek. That was just an actor doing a voiceover.
Yeah.
Not quite the same thing as a tie-in.
No. I tell you, it'd been interesting if we ever could see a Doctor Who game.
There is one.
Well, yeah.
A Matt Smith one, which takes the Batman Blackgate format. Or the Assassin's Creed India sort of format.
Wasn't there going to be a VR game that was coming out?
I'd not heard that.
I think BBC have released it on PC.
Not seen it.
Yeah, and there was talk about maybe bringing it to console.
Not seen it, I'm afraid.
What about Avatar?
That was a pure game.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was a very poor game. Although it did look nice environments, to be fair.
Yeah.
Shall I tell you what I think is the best movie tie-in game?
Are we going down the Star Wars route again, are we?
Possibly. But maybe not the route that you're thinking.
Why did I guess that?
I think that the best movie tie-in game that has ever been released, that is properly tied to the movie, although wasn't tied to the movie when it was released, was Lego Star Wars: A Complete Saga.
Yeah, I did enjoy those. Well, I enjoyed the Indiana Jones ones as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Riddick on Xbox. What about that? Ricky's just said.
Did I play that? I'm sure I did. That was the original Xbox, wasn't it?
No, 360.
Oh, was it 360?
Yeah.
I don't remember if I played that or not. I don't think I did.
It was all right. Wasn't overly fussed.
Mm.
Not the best.
No, I mean, there's been a lot of movie tie-ins. Just thinking about this now, we brought a few that you probably wouldn't have thought of. But would you want a Marvel game that's not Lego, obviously, but in the same vein as some, a third-person shooter or something like that?
Yeah.
The way we've got Anthem, you could have Iron Man. We've had Spider-Man, but
well, no, they did an Iron Man 1 and 2.
I don't think I played them. I think I let them miss me.
Yeah, they were on 360. I had them. Nikki's saying Riddick was on the Xbox One. It was great. Oh, the Xbox, rather, original.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking it was,
Yeah, I think they did a remake for the 360 or a remaster or whatever it was, or it was at the same time. I seem to remember playing it on the 360. Or maybe I was just playing it because the 360 did backward compatibility, didn't it, with some games?
There was actually, think about it, and I can't remember actually playing it. There was The Thing, wasn't there? The Carpenter movie.
Yes, it was, but I don't remember a game of that.
That came out in 2002.
I don't think I played that.
Yeah. Alien vs Predator?
No.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, no. I'll tell you what was quite a good one. One was on the Alien side was Alien Isolation, which came out on this gen.
Which is actually just coming to Game Pass, ironically.
Yes.
Shortly.
Yeah. So that's quite a nice tie because you play Ripley's child.
Yeah, I have not completed it. I have played it. I've got it.
Yeah. So like Nicky in the chat is now trying to make it all about Kingdom Hearts.
I do want to play that at some point when I can get some cash to pay for it. I mean, that's it. There was a Ghostbusters game. Do you remember
that was dreadful. That was dreadful. I'll tell you what's really weird. I picked up for a couple of quid, literally a couple of quid, was the Ghostbusters game on the PlayStation 4. And you know how there is the original good Ghostbusters and then there is the new not good Ghostbusters? This is here in that scale. So it's like 2 men and 2 women. Talk about being politically correct.
No, I think I played the Ghostbusters game on the 360.
Yeah.
Which had the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And I think some of them may have voiced them, I'm not too sure.
I think they probably did, yeah.
So yeah, that's it. The Ghostbusters video game, that came out in 2009. So it was PC, PS4, Xbox 360.
Yeah, no, the original one on the 360 was good. The one now is a load of rubbish. Stay clear of it. Definitely.
And back in 2005, well, actually, back in 1979, there was a great movie came out called The Warriors.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do.
And they brought a game out on 2005 for that via Rockstar.
Yeah.
I don't remember it at all. I mean, I know the movie very well. It's a great movie.
I think it's one that probably escaped me. Frax also just reminded us as well of the Commodore 64 Ghostbusters game. That was quite cracking.
I wouldn't remember that one.
Did you not have a 64?
No, I don't think I did, no. I would think I was too busy into alcohol and nightclubs at that point.
I was the right age.
Yeah, I think I was at that point, if I remember rightly, probably.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And then going the other way, the tie-in to the video game, the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some elements of that was okay.
Oh, they're fine. I don't mind them at all.
No. The best elements, though, were Angelina and Jolie.
There was a Blade Runner game came out on PC.
Yes, I had that one as well. Played that. That was like a point and click adventure.
That was 1997. That was.
Yeah, played that. That was good.
So okay.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to do his next question?
Yeah. So, what time sacrifices do you make to play games? Quite an easy one there.
Playing games is never a time sacrifice. It's time well spent. I'm not sure.
I grab it when I can, to be honest.
Yeah.
Even though my time could be sort of 10 o'clock onwards most nights.
Yeah.
If the missus is doing something and she's on her phone or paperwork, TV's not on. TV's on, Xbox on, or whatever.
Yeah. Whereas because I've got mine in a different room, I've got a bit more flexibility. Although you always seem to be on during the day times when I couldn't get on. I've noticed. Sort of like, right, the missus has gone to the loo. 5 minutes on Xbox. I'll do a patrol.
That's it. Just quickly grab that in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like I'm the same as you, late night, mostly, or any other opportunity I can shoehorn it in.
Yeah, when the wife goes out for an evening, you're sold, aren't you? You got it sorted, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, next weekend the family's going away. Wonder what I'll do.
Yeah, of course you will.
I know what I'll do. I'll do the washing and the ironing.
I'm sure she'll give you a few chores to do.
To be fair, she won't. She's not like that. To be honest, she's a good egg. So okay, so in that case, then we'll go on to Facebook questions. So the first one is Jason Toon. With the rumours circulating about a new version of the Nintendo Switch coming out soon, do you think early adopters of the new hardware are given a raw deal, or is this the price you pay for owning the new system at launch when there's hardly anything to play on it? In some cases, 2 or 3 iterations of the original console, like the PS3 and PS4.
I think it's just being early adopters, unfortunately. It's just one of the things you've got to put up with.
Yeah.
We all like to grab something early. And sometimes, in the case of the Switch, it was pretty poor to start off with, wasn't it? So,
well, there was all of the problems with the Bluetooth, with the controllers, wasn't there? Or the Joy-Cons or whatever.
And games were a bit thin on the ground as well, to be honest, as well. So,
but they're coming fast and thick now, aren't they?
Now though, if you're a Switch fan, you've got it made.
Yeah.
But at the time, I mean, it's any console you're going to go for. It's the sort of thing you go for, or if you can hold off and wait for a year. But it's hard to do that.
It is. I mean, 360 time. I think probably when the 360 came out, it was still not that long after I'd got married. So I wasn't really that into gaming at that point. I had other priorities, but I was going through the middle of a divorce. It was perfect. Yeah, I missed the whole Xbox 360 Pro and arcade. Do you remember those?
I was one of those. I did trade mine in to sort of grade up a bit.
Yeah. Well, see, I went to the Elite. That was the one where I joined it with a 120 gig hard drive.
Yeah. I remember picking up the 360 at launch. Before I went to work, I had to pop into Reading early morning.
Yeah.
8 o'clock. I went to gaming in Reading and picked it up. Then took it to work and left it in the car. I was gutted. I couldn't. Just at lunchtime, went and looked at it. Thought, you want to go home and play it?
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's one of them things. It's just part of being anything that you buy, because if you bought a Ford Fiesta in 1979, in comparison to the Ford Fiesta now, should you feel upset by the fact that it's been upgraded? No, because it's just natural progression. And all that as the technology moves on, they're finding ways to cut the costs on delivering exactly the same product. But as long as it does what it does, or there's no difference, I think this console cycle is probably the first time when you can think, well, if I hadn't have bought a PS4, I could have got a Pro.
Mm.
And I think that's the only time when maybe that's a consideration. But I think otherwise it's just part of the natural progression of those consoles.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. Whether you buy a car, a bit of kit for your entertainment system, or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
You suffer for that.
I mean, look at the PC world. Every 3 or 4 years, if you want to stay on top, you've got to buy a new graphics card.
Mm.
Fortunately, it slowed down on the processor side, because it used to have to buy a new graphics card, a new processor, a new motherboard, new memory every time that every 3 or 4 years. Yeah. Now it tends to be the graphics card every 3 or 4 years, and the processor, well, less often, probably about every 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, and consoles are slimming down to that itself now as well. So
yeah, they just cut down PCs with a bespoke operating system.
That's it.
So, yeah.
Okay, shall I move on to Craig Cole?
Yeah.
So, with all the Marvel stuff getting removed from Netflix and the rumours of Disney and Sony about to do their own Netflix-like service, exclusive for their content, that's both movies and TV, is it time to get backing up your own media and not relying on I can't see much more than that, on your stuff?
Hang on a minute, let's see what he says to see more. Relying on the online services, else we'll have to fork out for many more online subscriptions. I have a backup of lots of my movies and moved them to disc storage using ZFS to reduce the bit roll. I just don't trust that in the future that the stuff I want to see will be available, so I'm getting pulled from services. Well, I think he's really explaining a very real problem. I mean, for those of you who buy Blu-rays and DVDs, you should have received an email to say that the ultraviolet service is being pulled. Which is really annoying, because I've got over 100 movies on ultraviolet. And with places like Apple Store, they're not in any way protected either, because once that their arrangement with certain movies goes, they remove them from the stores and you can't download them ever again. No. Even though you've bought them, and that is so wrong. If they do that, they should reimburse you 100% of what you bought it for.
Or give you a voucher for another movie.
Yeah, but at full cost of what you paid. I just think I don't like the new digital future. It seems to be better on gaming than it is in terms of movies, because what they're trying to do is get you into the subscription malarkey, like Netflix.
Well, you say with Disney, for example, I mean, Star Wars movies and stuff like that, they will all be on there in future.
Yeah.
Mind you, they might not be worth seeing anyway, but...
Yeah. Vicky's saying in the text above me that it's in a 4,000 page small print that you agree to. You're right, it is. It's all in there. But who's read it? Who has ever read that?
You'd be there till Kingdom Come, wouldn't you, for that?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just for accepting the small print for playing Kingdom Hearts. So, yeah, I think that the digital future sucks. The need to get with the programme, to be honest. And once you've bought it, that's it. You should own it wherever you go. You should be able to transfer that digital right to whatever system you want to subscribe to, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's hardware dependent like games are. This is just a movie or a TV series. And that's why I'll continue to buy discs.
Well, I think I agree with you on that. It's great if they come with a digital code, because that digital code is yours.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, you buy a cheap one, like I did with Village of the Damned.
Yeah.
That was £9, so it's there. It's mine. You know, no one's going to take it away from me. And as much as we all like to think, you say that games are going to go completely digital, maybe one day, I can't see movies doing it ever.
No.
There's too much money in it still.
Yeah. Nikki's saying some games have gone like Tetris and the soundtrack for GTA. I think in terms of the Xbox store, I believe that if you go to your download list, which you might have to do online and scroll a heck of a long way down, I think you can still download the stuff. You just can't buy it or see it in the store anymore. That's my understanding of the way it was supposed to work.
Mm.
But other services aren't like that, because you've already paid for it.
Yeah, I think Microsoft are pretty on the ball with that at the minute, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just people like Apple that aren't.
Well, Apple, Sony, Universal, Warner Brothers, all of them.
Yeah, that's true.
So...
Okay.
And Sony are actually better than they used to be, because when you used to buy movies before, they used to say if you didn't download it, you wouldn't be able to re-download it again. And I just, you know, I had the fourth Terminator movie, you know, the one with Batman in it. That one. I had the digital code for the Sony store for that. I put it in, downloaded it to my PS3, but it's available on my PS4 now as well. So that they're transferring the digital rights there. What annoys me with Sony is that I've got loads of UV films that are Sony. Why can't I see them on my PS4? Doesn't make sense.
No.
Anyway, do you want to... Oh, is it me doing his next question, isn't it?
Yes, go for Nicky's, yeah.
So, the Oscars tonight, who are you...
Oh, you've missed one.
Have I?
Yeah. Nicky's got 2.
Right, okay. So, what are some of the best and worst reboot movies? My worst is RoboCop, as terrible and boring, and Star Trek 2009 is my best of all Star Trek movies.
Okay, well, I have not seen the RoboCop remake. I don't ever intend to see the RoboCop remake.
It's not good.
Because you can't beat the original on that. Sorry. No. I must admit, if we're going to talk best or worst Star Trek movies, I've got a feeling that in the reboot of the Kelvin timeline, the last one, Beyond. Was it Star Trek Beyond? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Not my favourite.
Although that got a better write-up than Into Darkness.
Yeah, because Into Darkness was kept in the dark a bit, wasn't it?
Yeah. I liked all three of them, to be fair.
I mean, I might watch it one day again, but don't hold your breath.
I'm sure you will.
I'd probably watch Star Trek 2 again first, if anything, you know?
The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that 4K release to be for that at some point. There's rumours. But sequels, or say not sequels, but reboots, they're never the same, to be honest.
No, I mean, look at Total Recall. That was awful.
I've not seen it. I don't intend to, because I think that was bad as well, wasn't it?
It's a completely different story.
Yeah.
The only similarity is
the title.
The fact he has a memory cap. He goes to recall, and then all hell lets loose.
Mm.
That's where the similarity ends.
Yeah.
They're not even on Mars.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Mm. And besides, it didn't have Michael Ironside in, so it couldn't be good.
Yeah, I'd say what I did quite like, going on the reverse of that, is some of the reboot horror movies they did.
Yeah.
So you've had, like, they did A Nightmare on Elm Street, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And you had Friday the 13th. So because of the way the 80s movies were, they're a bit more gritty these days.
Yeah.
and they're not bad actually. As much as I got a lot of fondness for my horror movies from the 80s, some of those remakes, reboots, whatever, are pretty good. And there's going to be, I say, because I actually sent a question for another podcast. I do that occasionally, and I was chatting to the couple of guys that I met at John Carpenter last year.
Yeah.
And they were asking about what would you like to see as a remake or redo or whatever. And I was thinking about The Shining. But there's actually going to be the sequel book called I think it's called The Black Doctor. Is coming out, and it's going to concentrate on the child in it, Danny Torrance, when he's an adult.
Okay.
So yeah, that's coming out at some point. So nobody say it's not really a reboot. That's a continuation of Stephen King's novel.
Yeah.
So yeah, can you think of anything else that comes to mind for yourself?
Well, what about the Planet of the Apes movies?
Oh, don't get me on that one. Because I was listening to Wrong Reel the other day. I listened to their Planet of the Apes podcast.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. And they run about the best and worst. And they do slip in one of the other later ones in their list. Maybe in between one of the original 5.
Yeah.
But they all agreed that the Tim Burton movie was the worst. And I tend to agree with them on that.
Yeah. What about It?
Well, I've got a lot of fondness for the original TV movie that came out.
Yeah.
But I do like the remake of that. Again, we're talking like an 80s TV horror, brought up to date with today's standards, and just seen the trailer for part 2.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good.
I'm thinking about Cousin It. I quite like the Addams Family movies as a reboot of the TV series.
They weren't bad.
Yeah.
I think the characters that played Gomez and that, I think they got that off spot on.
Gomez and Morticia, they were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
It's such a shame that his last movie was Street Fighter. For such a good actor.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a shame.
Yeah.
But and you had, I can't remember the girl's name that played Wednesday.
Yes.
She played that spot on as well. And obviously we had I forgot his name now in Back to the Future.
Michael J. Fox?
No.
Christopher Lloyd?
Yeah. Because he was in it.
Yeah. Was he?
Yes.
Sorry.
Uncle Fester.
Oh yeah, of course he was. Yeah, of course he was.
Putting the light bulb in his mouth and lighting it up.
Yeah, it was I like both of those movies. I think they were really good. But excuse me, to me, Gomez and Morticia were definitely the standout characters on there. Just trying to think. Yeah, I can't really. There's nothing else that's sort of like popping into mind at the moment.
Oh, I could think of one, and I didn't like at all. And that was the remake of The Omen.
Well, that was just a word-for-word one, wasn't it?
It was. Here's the script from the 70s. Let's make a movie. And also another one that just come to mind as they're popping in as they do. I will probably go and have a look at it just because it's Bruce Willis. But it ain't going to be a patch on the original Death Wish.
Death Wish, yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic movie.
And also
gritty.
Day the Jackal as well. Because he did that, didn't he?
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah, that was poor. So I just think that there are some films that should never ever be remade, like Back to the Future.
Here we go. How about Aladdin?
It's a cartoon, it's not the same.
No. It's going to get a lot of stick still anyway. But bless, poor old Will Smith's going to get it in the
Yeah. Okay,
So-
should we do Nikki's next question?
Okay, so obviously we know it's the Oscars tonight.
Yeah.
Who are you hoping to win something? Also, is there anyone you think you should have won but didn't? Will Smith in The Pursuit of Happiness always springs to mind.
For me, I think it's got to be Rami Malek. I think he deserves the Oscar for his portrayal.
I think he might lose out though.
Possibly. But I think he deserves it because he was very convincing in the role. I know it's not historically accurate. It's a movie. It's artistic license. Who cares? Move on.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I don't really follow the Oscars that much. I'm more into watching the movies rather than watching what happens about the movies. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I was always a fan of the Oscars because I used to love seeing if my favourite movies could sort of come on top.
Yeah.
And ironically, as we talk about the best actor, okay, so he's up against Christian Bale, Bradley Cooper, William Dafoe, and Viggo Mortensen. So stiff competition.
Yes, definitely.
But the Oscars, have a funny way of late, have always given a certain movie, will sort of walk away with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be a very arty movie, or not say the most popular movie that may have come out that done so well.
Yeah, because I'm not thinking for Oscars, but Netflix have just bought, thinking about like a foreign movie, that Roaming Earth, haven't they? Which is Chinese.
Yeah. So, just thinking about it, I'm trying to think what for the movies section is in the Oscars tonight. Best Supporting Actress. What have we got here? Trying to find best movie, if I can find it. But actually, to be honest, though, I think the movies are going to be probably the same that the actors are nominated. So you're looking at Green Book, Star Is Born, Bohemian Rhapsody, To Eternity's Gate, and Vice.
Yeah.
So it'd probably be one of those. But ones I think regret not getting Oscars where they should have done. Jaws never won Best Movie that year, which should have done. And Spielberg, it took a while for him to pick up an Oscar.
Yeah.
These movies that make billions of dollars don't always come out on top.
Sometimes I wonder if some of it's a little bit of professional jealousy that they just don't get them.
I don't know. I think it depends on who. I think the actual people that do the actual the people that put the nominations together. I think they're probably a bunch of old fogies after time, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. But there is still a lot of movies that I have adored that have won the best movie. I'm trying to think of some of those that come to mind. I think actually didn't Four Weddings and a Funeral win it?
I don't remember. Like I said, I don't really follow who wins them or not. I just watch what I like.
Yeah. So just thinking about it, it's winners in the past.
Yeah, Frack's just saying about Rami Malek. I think he should get it, definitely.
Yeah. Because I think some that come to mind. I think The Godfather won it one year, for example. Let's move forward to the 70s. So let's have a look. So The French Connection won it in 71.
Yeah.
And that was up against films like The Clockwork Orange, if you remember that.
Yeah.
72 was The Godfather. 73 was The Sting. 74 was Godfather Part 2. 75, Jaws didn't get it, but One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest won it. 76
To be
was Rocky.
fair, that's a fair thing though there, because that was another massively good movie.
Oh god, I mean, you should go back to both 70. So you got 76. Rocky won it in 76. That was up against Taxi Driver as one of the big movies.
Yeah.
Annie Hall won it 77, where Star Wars was in the list.
Mm-hmm.
Deer Hunter won it in 78, when you had Heaven Can Wait and Midnight Express, which is a fantastic movie. 79 was Kramer versus Kramer, and my mouse has stopped working for a second. And in that list was Apocalypse Now, which for me should have won it. If you look at the 80s briefly, so 1980, Ordinary People won it, and my personal favourite would have been The Elephant Man. 81 was Chariots of Fire, but Raiders of the Lost Ark didn't win it. Gandhi won it in 82, and E.T. was in the list. Let's have a look. Let's probably scoot a bit more forward. Let's have a look. Platoon won it in 86, which probably was well worth it. 88, Rain Man with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
That won it that year. It's sort of scripted 90s a little bit. 1992, The Unforgiven won it. Clint Eastwood.
You see, the thing is that most of the ones that win the Oscars are less sort of like sci-fi, fantasy, more factual.
Yeah, you got Schindler's List. If I just scroll through without saying, well, you got Schindler's List won it. Forrest Gump won it. That's when Four Weddings didn't win it. Let's have a look. Braveheart, The English Patient, Titanic, which scooped low that year. American Beauty. Let's have a look. Gladiator, Beautiful Mind, Chicago, Lord of the Rings, $1 Million Baby, Crash, The Departed, No Country for Old Men, Slumdog Millionaire. 2010, you've got The King's Speech. That was a pretty good film.
Mm.
The Artist, Argo, 12 Years of a Slave, Birdman. And now they start to change a bit, and the way these sort of movies that come out. Shape of Water obviously won it 2017. That seems that long ago. And yeah, so it just depends how movies got to come out at the right time of year as well for that.
Yeah.
I just got maybe a sneaky feeling. I don't know why. Something like Black Panther might win it.
I think it'd be more like Three Billboards, wouldn't it?
No, that was last year.
Was it?
Yeah, so this year's nominations for Best Movie, you got Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favourite, Green Book, Roma, A Star Is Born, and Vice. So, but I shall wake up early in the morning and put the TV on and have a quick rummage to see who's won what.
And I shall just ignore the whole thing like I normally do. Okay, so shall we go on to Frack's question then?
Yeah, but I can't see that at the moment, but you can.
I put it under Twitch because we didn't have it for Twitch. He's put, looking forward to your thoughts on Xbox Game Pass and the Switch coming together. Will it happen? Will you be tempted to switch to pick up a Switch?
No pun intended there.
Yeah, if Xbox titles turn up on there.
So, as you've got a Switch, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, my son's got a Switch, I don't.
Okay, yeah, I forgot that, yeah.
So, I don't know how this will work for Game Pass. I mean, my understanding was it was Xbox Live coming to the Switch, not Game Pass.
Yeah.
But if Game Pass does come to it, does that mean that Microsoft are going to start releasing games on the Switch? Or does it mean that they're going to do streaming of their games onto the Switch?
Well, you can probably download them from Game Pass.
Yeah.
And then when you don't have it subscribed, they won't work.
Sorry, what was that?
So when you unsubscribe, they just wouldn't work like standard.
Yeah, I think so.
So where, if you've got any games that are worth playing handheld, maybe something like one of those, some of these scrolling games, left to right.
Like Planet Alpha.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's already on that system.
Yeah.
A lot of these games are, because they've been getting transferred over. I just want to know how it's going to work.
So this would be more for you to plug your Switch into the TV then?
I think so, yeah.
So if you're not an Xbox owner, say you're a Switch and PlayStation,
yeah,
then you got it made.
Yeah, you have, because you've got all the consoles then.
Yeah.
Effectively.
I'm assuming the price would be roughly the same still.
I don't know. I haven't really seen much about it, but I think that their move for making Xbox Live on all of the platforms is to make it I should say onto the Switch, because it's not onto Sony, is it? But it is onto Android and iOS. I think it's just so that they get the bite of the market before Sony do. Because if they make it so that, it's a good system that people can subscribe to it, they do cross-platform gaming, they've got people from multiple platforms all subscribing all onto one.
Yeah, true, yeah. But how will it work on the phone, though, do you think?
Well, presumably you'd use a Bluetooth controller.
Yeah,
just
maybe.
Connect that to your phone. There's plenty of those about, isn't there?
I suppose you could sort of stream your phone to your main TV.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of TVs do that. And if you've got Apple TV, you could stream it to that as well.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, interesting. I don't know. It's whether or not we'll learn more before E3. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm sure that it'll come out at some point. I think there's a lot of misinformation about it at the moment, more than anything else.
Yeah. Normally the case, isn't it?
But I think that to work, it'd have to be game streaming. If it is Game Pass. But that'd be really good for people. And it'd be good for Microsoft as well.
Well, they got their feet in every door then, haven't they? So
apart from Sony.
Yeah, it's win-win for them. They'll have cross-play. They'll have that as well.
But then again, nowadays, didn't Microsoft buy out the company that the Uncharted technology that they use in that game uses? So they're getting even into the Sony sort of side, and with other people like the Detroit Become Human producers now moving on to multi-platform.
Maybe.
We'll have to see. I think it's going to be an interesting 5 years for gaming.
Yeah, because remember Sony not going to be at E3 this year. So really, it's Microsoft to do what they want to do and take centre stage. Yeah,
there's a few rumours that they're going to show the next gen console. I can't see it yet though.
I hope not. It's too early.
Yeah, it's too early. The Xbox One X does fine. We don't need another console. And the PlayStation Pro does fine, with the exception of the lack of a ultra high, def 4K Blu-ray player.
Yeah, they shot themselves in the foot with that one. I don't know why.
Yeah, because I think that less people would have gone for the X. But when you're paying out £250 for a 4K Blu-ray player, or add another 150, and you've also got a fully fledged game console, which is the most powerful on the market at the time. Which are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Whereas the Pro, they could have said, well, I could get rid of my PS4 or put it in little Johnny's room or whatever, and I've got my PlayStation 4 under my TV, and I can also play 4K movies on it. I know that it can play streaming 4K movies, but we're on about discs.
Yeah.
So I think that's the one bad move that Sony have really done this generation.
Well, they might change that in the next console.
They might well. I hope they do. They need to. They need to. But they might go discless for all we know. Anyhow, anyone got any questions in the Twitch stream, or are we finished?
See what they say.
Yeah.
Even though Nicky's had 2 already anyway, he's done all right tonight.
Yeah, Nicky always does 2 nowadays. When I remind him that he has to do them.
That's true.
Yeah.
So we're going to call that a wrap.
What's Frack said? Gaming will become the standard like DVD or Blu-ray. What 3DO envisions many years ago, and all games will appear on one format. Bad or good thing, we'll see. I think competition, even if it's just the main 2 or the main 3, is a good thing.
Oh, it makes it healthy, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Because once there's only one, you're over a barrel.
Yeah, and then they start to slip on how they churn them out.
Yeah, quality. Well, I would say quality goes down, but then again, quality's not. Doesn't seem to be seems to be a bit of an issue this generation anyway.
Oh well, especially for finished games.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, no one seems to have got any more questions. So in that case, we'll call it a wrap for this week. So, Steve, do you want to do your contact details?
So, Twitter @Steve007, PSN ID the real Steve007, Xbox the same is Steve007, email steve07@popculturegamers.co.uk, and yourself is.
All of my details are always HERJUK, so just that on Xbox, PlayStation, all of the PC sort of ones, it's HERJUK. It is on Twitch as well. Also, you don't forget you can join our Facebook group, Pop Culture Gamers. Any inquiries you can email podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. Don't forget our website, which is popculturegamers.podbean.com. Don't forget as well, you can support the show through our Patreon, or what we'd rather you do at the moment is to support Game Blast and to donate to our Just Giving page, which is coming up right here, right now. There's the web address right there. There it goes. It's following us along.
Where is it? Is it over there? Or is
No,
it down there?
it's just going off the screen there. But in case you didn't get it, it's justgiving.com/fundraising/popculturegamers.
I will say though, for me the best thing, if you ever message me on Twitter, that's the best place to get me most time, because my phone's always with me and that's always alerting me anyway, so that's always a good way.
Yeah, and likewise for me as well. So okay, so it's a wrap. That's show number 39 in the bag. Or numbered show number 39 in the bag, I should say, because our actual show number is very different because of all of the specials that we've done. This is actually show 46 out of all of them, believe it or not.
Yeah, blimey.
Yeah, so we're nearly at 50, although show number wise we're not. Anyway, thank you for everybody for the support. Special thanks to everybody who has donated. If you haven't donated, question is why not, and when are you going to? Because we need to support the charity. This is a charity. It's Game Blast, or rather the event's Game Blast, but the charity is Special Effects, and that is for raising money to for them to assist people in being able to play video games by doing assessments of them and being able to provide them with adapted equipment like the Xbox accessibility controller. It's been a really long weekend. I think I'm nearly at around about 24 hours of streaming over the last 3 days.
Can I just say well done to you for doing it, mate? You've done a grand job.
Thank you. Didn't hit the £500 target I wanted, but I do have a bit more money that my wife has secured as well. She's been blackmailing people. She's a lot more pushy than I am.
Well, work.
Yeah, at work and family and friends and stuff like that. So that will go up, but we still want people to contribute. So if you haven't, now really, really is the time. And look at that, the timing couldn't have been better, because coming up, ticker taping underneath us right now is, again, the web address, justgiving.com fundraising /pop culture gamers. So thank you very much. And with that, it's a good night from me.
And a good night from him.
Good night. And
Good
thank
night.
you for watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bye now.
Bye.